Right, let's navigate to the AWS console. And in here, what I want you to do is to search for, so we can't really configure, basically we can't configure the security group from this page right here. So what I want you to do is to search for RDS in here, RDS. So relational database, so managed relational database. There we go. And in here we have, so DB instances, we have one instance. So this is the database that was created via the Elastic Beanstalk screen. Now what I want you to do is to click on the database, and here you can see various things. So you can see the identifier, you can see the CPU, the status, the class, the region, the engine, and the connections. So here, 0 connections. And if I scroll down, you can see that we have the endpoint. So this is what we use to connect to the database. And this is basically this. So what we have put in here. And then the port 5432. And in here we have, check this out, VPC security groups, right? So this is this security group in here. So let's actually check this security group. So I'm going to click on it. And now you can see that we have inbound and outbound rules. So this is basically this, right? So the security group has inbound. So anything that, let me just zoom in here. So basically anything that connects to the database. So that's inbound. And the database also might make outbound connections, right? So maybe it wants to patch something on the instance, so on and so forth. So if I go back, now if I click on inbound rules, so in here you can see that we have PostgreSQL TCP 5432, and then the source is this security group. So I'm just going to press Command C, but this security group here is this one here. So this one, which is attached to this instance right here, which means that our instance that we have currently running the Docker image for our application, right? So that instance can connect to our database because of this rule. So it's an inbound rule, right? It's an inbound rule saying allow any traffic that comes from this instance to our database. Obviously, we only have one instance running, but because this is an auto-scaling group, if you have more than one instance, they will all have the same security group. Therefore, any instance that comes up will be able to talk to our database. So let me show you this security group. So if I go back and in here, let me just remove this search. And in here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll up and then go to instances. And this is under, so EC2 right here, services, and then EC2. And in here, you can see that we have one instance running. So this instance, if I click on it, is this one right here, which has our application. And if I click on it to see more description, so here you can see a couple of things. So you can see the instance ID, the public IP address, you can see the private IP, a bunch of other things, including the instance type, which is a T2 micro, so really small instance. But if I go to security, check this out. Security groups is this one. So if I press Command F and then V, so you can see that is the exact same security group which the database is allowing traffic from. So if I show you again, so our database, it's allowing traffic from this instance that has the security group SG03 blah 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 blah, right? So the problem that we have is that we cannot connect directly to our database, right? So this is because we're not going through the load balancer, right? So ideally, traffic should be going from the load balancer, right? So the clients should be hitting the load balancer, and that's what we've been doing when we hit the URL. So that goes through the load balancer, then forwards to the instances, and then these instances can then talk to the database. So what we want to do is to be able to configure this security group to allow traffic from our IP range, right? Or from anywhere from the internet. So to do that is as follows. So in here, go to security group in here. So all of this is under EC2. Go to security group and then find the one for RDS. So the one for your instance or database instance. In my case, is RDS in here. And if you want to find it, so go to RDS, click on it, and then go to database instances, click on it. So we only have one. And in here, you can see security groups. So this is the one for our database. Again, is this one in here. And if I click on it, that takes me back to the page that I was previously. So here I'm going to edit the inbound rules, and also you can see outbound rules. So the database can actually talk outbound, and basically here, so the database can make outbound rules, and the inbound currently is only for anything that has this security group, which is the instances themselves. So let's edit this to allow. So in here, I'm going to say edit outbound. And then you can see that, or actually not edit outbound. So we want to edit inbound. So anything that tries to talk to our database, inbound traffic. So here I'm going to say add rule, change this from custom TCP to Postgres. So this will actually give you the correct port 5432, and then custom. So here you can change anywhere or my IP. Now I would advise you to select my IP because then you are the only one can connect to your database. Again, choose this, but I'm going to break the rule and I'm going to choose anywhere because otherwise this will give me headache when it comes to edit the video, right? So I'm just going to select this for now, but as soon as I'm done, I'm actually going to change this and change it to my IP. So here I'm going to say save rules, and there we go. So now that we have properly allowed, so here we are allowing traffic from the internet, including yourself. So you can actually connect to my database instance, but you won't be able to because I'm going to add back the security group rule that only allows my IP, right? But now we have changed this security group to allow traffic from the internet. And that means that now I can connect to my database using IntelliJ or PSQL running on Docker. And that's what we're going to do next.